See if they can do it. Now moving over to that red side, MVP over on the blue. Malzahar will still remain as the first ban, so nothing shaking up the draft here yet.
Graves and LeBlanc have been the big picks for Kongdoo. Haven't got a lot of the LeBlanc, but look good the one time they played it, specifically at IEM, and the Graves has been Punch's most effective champion. If they get neither of those, chances go once again down for Kongdoo Monster.
And I mean, now MVP just have even more freedom to ban it away. They took the, quote, risk to do so in game one, handed over the Camille, but still, you know, it wasn't enough for Kongdoo, so now they could very well just ban the Talia and the Graves.
Could also ban the Rengar and first pick Graves for Beyond.
That would also be good if they decided to do that.
And if they do ban the Rengar in this spot, they either get Camille or Graves. And Camille's been a really big pick for ADD, or Ed, as he wishes to be called.
But we say no.
I mean, it says ADD on the screen, so it doesn't say Ed. There's no way to pronounce that Romanized string of letters Ed. That's why, for now, I stick with ADD. But they're going to ban the Nautilus instead. Maybe you're not that worried about Punch potentially picking up the Rengar. Or maybe Beyond wants to play it himself. That's a possibility.
Very well could see that. So Camille will be the ban away. Don't want that in the hands of Ed. Well, that'd be a really bold first pick.
They were watching the last series.
They definitely were.
Saw them in the back. Can confirm they were watching the last series.
So just flashing the Dr. Mundo, but yeah, the first pick on it would definitely be intriguing to say the least, but it's actually going to be Rumble.
Okay, interesting. So
they're showing Roach, this is what you pick into Rumble.
Roach has played the Rumble a bit. ADD has never been that associated with the pick. But everyone needs to play Rumble in this meta. It doesn't seem to be optional. So he will jump on that Rumble. Looking over at his history as a player, ADD has actually never played a competitive game of Rumble. So this is his first.
All right, well, we'll
a
see.
lot of people have played their first this season.
That's true.
It was Smeb and Marin only at the start of the season, then everyone's like, well, I guess we have to play Rumble. So in his professional history, at least at the LCK level, it is the first time that we're seeing Rumble out of ADD. You know it's weird when he's played a Fizz and a Vladimir game, but not a Rumble game.
And a Rengar top.
That's true. He certainly has played a Rengar top. A Renekton, too.
It's been an interesting season here for ADD, but Graves Karma coming out from Kongdoo, so got to keep things much more consistent.
And Beyond will take the Rengar that is so far undefeated, 4-0 on Rengar this season.
Been a really good pickup for him. But now Graves for Punch. Let's see how that's going to affect things, and maybe we actually get a Jhin. We haven't seen a Jhin in a while. It's all been about the Ashe Ezreal all day.
It's been a comfort pick for Maha, who's 6-2 on the Jhin this season. Also, the pick comp is exactly what the Rengar is looking for, and he can set up picks himself, can the Jhin, so looking past Ashe when it comes to pick comps, a little bit surprising, but clearly he just wants to hang back and snipe people. So it took 5 matches, but we finally see not Ashe or Ezreal, despite all the bans being targeted to Varus and Varus only. I'd love to see some positive emotion on the face of a Kongdoo Monster player, but for now,
emotion in general.
Well, that's called glumness, Achilles. He looks pretty glum. And MC, their coach, that's a half smile. He's got that going for him.
You really are a glass half full guy.
You know, it's a pretty small glass for Kongdoo Monster, sadly.
Yeah, more of a shot glass.
Well, looking at the second round, what do they want to ban away from MVP? Mid lane and support are the place to go, and they will ban away the most meta of Max's picks. You obviously can't ban away the edge case picks, like the Brand, for example, but going to Thresh seems good after Max had a really good performance on that in Game 1. Whereas MVP looking at the solo lanes with their bans.
Yeah, I mean, they could just target out on edge again if they really want to.
I think something like Ryze would be a good ban, but was completely skipped over in the previous game and may not even be favored on 7.5 when we move to that next week.
Just Echo for now. Kongdoo, do they continue with the supports? Do they also throw something here at Ian? Because right now the Syndra's available.
Ban
There it is.
Syndra, like you say. I wonder if MVP will just go back to Orianna, because they have the Rengar as a ball delivery system already. Talon Band away from the side of Edge. Could just take top lane here. It's going to be the Gragas top.
Okay.
Well, if you consider the bans, Poppy is not a good matchup into Rumble. That much is known. Nautilus already banned. Could have taken Maokai, so I guess a little bit of a surprise they went for the Gragas, but Gragas does have range disengage on the curtain call.
Could have taken the Mundo.
You could have taken the Mundo, you're right.
He showed it to him.
But the one thing you can say is at least Gragas can throw the cask at Maha and interrupt the curtain call if he's in range, so that's something they have going for them. He's the only one of the 4 that can interrupt. But there's no initiation or crowd control outside of the Gragas on the side of Kongdoo, really.
And Tom Kench is available, so we'll see this one locked in.
Bit of a peculiar time for the Tom Kench.
Yeah, it's a bit odd.
Tom Kench can't really do anything against Gragas because of the displacement effect. Certainly not the Tom Kench to answer Ashe that we usually see. And I don't know if I would like to see the Zilean here, but Edge needs to go somewhere against the Orianna, and he'll just go back to the Zilean.
Okay. Well, didn't have a good time in game number 1, but let's try his hand at it again, see if he can get ahead.
Peculiar. I feel like both the Tom Kench and Zilean don't necessarily jive with the comps they're in. The Zilean at least answers the potential for Rengar to burst one person down, but the Orianna kind of is the worry. Like, sure, maybe the Rengar will get a lot of damage, and then you can negate the ult, but then he's the ball carrier, so the death from above situation happens with the Rumble and Orianna, so maybe Edge is just feeling the Zilean. There's something to be said about comfort in the face of so many recent losses, but not really convinced by the draft from Kongdoo Monster in this game.
Neither am I, but I don't know. Couple X factors here for MVP. The Tom Kench coming in seems a little bit questionable, but also the Rumble for ADD. First time out on that. We'll see what kind of performance he can have, whether it's going to be, just one that absolutely breaks Kongdoo, or if he just has his team suffer and have to try to carry him through this game.
And Kongdoo Monster have a siege comp, one that can be run Gragas for disengage, take turrets, and double speed away with Karma and the Zilean, but most of the skepticism is on can they pull it off against better opposition, and, the answer's probably no. Like, they'd have to show us a different gear we haven't seen in recent weeks, and it's so similar to the Game 1 comp that I don't really know what to make of the draft from Kongdoo.
All right, well, we'll see if Kongdoo can execute on this, keep their hopes alive for a little bit longer, or if they're just going to go ahead and sink in a 0-2 loss. Let's get on to the Rift for game number 2. Alrighty, and here we are. Maybe the last game of the night.
Don't walk in there, Cougar.
Oh boy, Cougar walks into the brush. And he goes down. All right, first blood going over to Ian. Yeah!
I'm pretty sure he could see them walking into the brush. I'm going to hope he couldn't. I'd love to see it toggled from the side of Kongdoo Monster, but he's dead now.
MC's like, why did I take out Secret?
Now Orianna has double Doran's ring, so that's cool.
Well, you want to just handle this?
I got nothing to say.
All right.
As I said, my mother told me, if you've got nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all.
All right, maybe we should just go home. Just let the stream run out.
We did talk about Game 1 as if it was presented without comment. The Euronews approach sometimes.
Yeah.
But I'm here because I want to see ADD play his first ever career Rumble game. Because I need to know if he's a good Rumble. Because a lot of these first-time Rumbles just haven't been convincing us. Or the just not legacy Rumble players. Hard to compare on Champion, where if you mess up the equalizer, kind of does not that much, really. So equalizer placement so important.
Well, we'll see how he handles it, but I mean, we saw just how well Ian was playing the Orianna already in game 1. Now having first blood the first minute of the game. It's going to be really rough for Edge. And, I mean, Soul, he's kind of already had to put this team on his back several times to even come close to a win. And the pressure is definitely on now.
Soul's reminding me more and more of Nuclear, who looked a class above Spenu. Sonic Boom when he was last in the LCK, and now, of course, it's over in H2K. I wonder if Soul will be potentially moving roster in the future. I guess signs point to yes, probably.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of good AD carries in the LCK. Kongdoo could still retain their spot. It's always hard to judge how good the top-placed challenger team is versus the bottom-placed LCK team. IEM kind of gives a bit of a window into the fact that, okay, Kongdoo are not just terrible, but certainly some of their recent games have been hard to watch.
Yeah. CJ, as far as I know, are still on a massive win streak at the moment.
Last I checked, they were 20-1 in game score.
22-2.
Ooh, they lost a second game. That was their first game loss in their last set since the first day of the season.
Well, they're still 11-0 on the match score, so they're doing all right. Number 8 winners, slinking behind them a little bit here.
Can we call them the SK Telecom T1 of challengers? That's sad, really, if you think about it. What the Orgs were discussing, someone just took a drink. They were like, okay, I can't handle this.
Glad they turned off the stream.
No, we're soldiering on, damn it. In this epic matchup between MVP and Kongdoo Monster.
This is really like, Telecom War 2.0.
We don't throw that around, except I say it every time we have a series like this.
Oh, dear.
I want someone to put down a sick control ward in the brush, like we saw in our first set. For now, Punch is obviously not the one to do that. Rengar's on the bottom side.
Yep, he's just clearing out the Krugs. Kongdoo going to be playing back, about as far back as they possibly can.
Happily, because Gugur didn't use his summoners when he died, at least they can just push in bot lane, which is good for the CS values of specifically Soul. It's the little things that you have to embrace.
He's been getting bullied around. Punch over the wall with a blast cone. Again, coming out. Nice flash away from the body slam, keeps himself alive.
You would have thought that he would have known that he was walking on a ward and thus would have not invested the flash, but did anyway. Because you get that mini stun on the flash at level 5, and given the proximity of the Graves, I think if you just body slammed and threatened the flash, which means don't flash, but complete the body slam, it might have been a respect flash from ADD anyway, but
yeah.
Regardless, they trade summoners. Maybe we'll see the return wraparound gank from Punch. He did get Graves, which we have to once again say has been his best performing champion this season.
Was spotted going back into his jungle. So they at least know that he's operating around the bottom side of things at the moment. Or could infer that. Max pushing forward, trying to get some damage on the Soul.
It's a really weak 2v2 lane from MVP. Tahm Kench against a ranged support is well-trodden territory, and boots start to just get through the laning phase and have the extra biscuits for the Jhin. So it shouldn't be a surprise that, for now at least, Soul and Gugur have a CS advantage.
Roll up to the top means that Roach has to go ahead and peel back because he's a flashless, manaless Gragas. Max getting the Devour out onto Gugur. Not too low yet. Tongue Lash not going to connect, and Soul trading back the damage. He's also coming down. They want to try to get this kill. Soul has a couple Mystic shots. Can't dash forward, but now with the arrival of Punch, things could get a little bit hairy, but he doesn't want to have to commit in with the flash to try to get the kill. Knows that Maha and Max both have all their summoner spells, so he peels back.
We are still on 7.4, so while on 7.5, the live patch, Max has the Stoneborn's Pact. That is still Bond of Stone on 7.4. People say that the new reworked Bond of Stone, the Stoneborn's Pact, is very strong on the Tahm Kench support, given that he has the spammable Q in terms of slow, which gets some healing, which doesn't obviously doesn't innately offer in the support role, so we might see even more Tahm Kench on 7.5. I'm really excited for the 7.5 to come in.
Maybe we get Tahm Kench.
You know, I don't know if the Keystone necessarily makes that more likely, but I and a certain analyst from the Gangnam Stadium would love to see more Tahm Kench in other roles. Is he going for a walk? He's going to face check.
Yeah, this could be really bad. End of the line. Has a lot of damage. He doesn't have a flash, so it's on the red carpet, but not going to get a whole lot done. Wraparound coming in from Edge. Jukes out on one of the bombs, and this should be ADD going down. You would have to expect, unless Ian can get there in time, but the arrival of Cougar, he will just KS the Rumble at the end of things. Beyond committing the flash in the bottom lane, won't be able to come up with a kill on the Soul, but gets the flash and heal out of the Ezreal.
It does trade for 2 summoners, like you say, so that's going to make his AD carry happy, given that Curtain Call will be available soon, and we'll only have 1 reposition to not fall to that ability in the next 5 minutes or so. Equalizer wasn't necessarily convincing, but okay. He was face-checking a Graves, so we will not judge ADD's Rumble based on 1 Equalizer. We'll give him a second one.
We'll just go for a stroll in the jungle, take away this blue buff. So just denying those out from Kongdoo. If they can't, Ian won't be able to get his. Well, maybe he would have the distance to go through, but can't take it away. So it just will be an exchange.
No blue buff for Ian.
Or for Edge, so feels bad man for the mid laners.
Unfortunate.
Sometimes unlucky.
Gold lead basically where it was in game 1. Slight lead over to the side of MVP. Boots rush from the Zillion is very interesting from Edge. Might suggest it won't be Rod of Ages, given that he's already spent as much gold as he has on Boots 2. I wonder if we'll see the GLP on the Zillion. That'd be fun.
Very big transition for him. ADD gets popped in the tower, flashes away. Well,
Very
Equalizer's a lot better. Punch going low. Won't be able to chase in. But they still get the flash down from the Rumble, which makes him susceptible to another visitation from that Graves.
Roach shorted the Gragas ultimate quite a lot there. That was a bit of a mechanical mistake.
So no Kongdoo has some of those every now and then.
Fair to say, Achilles. To pick your words pretty carefully with Kongdoo, given the recent times, although he's engaged.
We're going to go ahead, jump onto Soul. He jumps away with the Arcane Shift, but doesn't have the flash, so he will go down. Beyond finds that kill. Exhaust coming through onto Maha. Cougar trying to make it out with his life. Curtain Call gets opened up. He's really got nowhere to go, and Max will actually just take that one away with the Tongue Lash.
Kill secured, says the Tahm Kench.
I was like, I got my 4th shot. He's like, no, no, no. I got it. Don't worry. No need to thank me. You can put away your Rudy Tooty point and shooting now.
Oh, look at you. Tying it all in, Achilles. That's very nice.
We'll bring it back. Somebody was kind enough to tweet the full list of British-isms at me.
I probably have heard most of them, I'd imagine. I haven't necessarily spent as much time in Britain as I might have liked, but...
Let's see. What's a slippery dippery long mover?
I don't know.
It's a snake.
Okay.
Cobblestone clippity clops.
Horseshoes?
A road.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
The list goes on and on. It's wonderful.
Maybe you have to live in England to know these things. I've only
possible.
managed a few months of that. It's Punch and Beyond fighting again. Still going to be the catalyst from Edge, so maybe one step closer to my dream of the GLP.
I think it's part of the citizens test
Oh.
to join the UK.
Good thing I was born in there.
Yeah.
I didn't have to take a test. I'm not that good at tests. Nice trade there onto Edge. Was trying to play up because Punch was around mid lane.
Got a lot of the damage down onto Ian. That's about quite nicely, so it's a step in the right direction for Edge. He's not down in CS at the moment. Still will be going for the Rod of Ages, it seems, with the Catalyst coming in, but it's going to be delayed quite heavily. Max pushing forward, maybe looking for a Devour. You're pushing back. It's a tether. Can he bait them in? It's a question. Beyond has the ultimate, does not have a flash, but looks like they're going to go for a ride with the Abyssal Voyage, but the Arcane Shift will take Soul out to safety.
And we saw this combo before, the Abyssal Voyage and Thrill of the Hunt combo. This time the Rengar will not find anything.
Yeah, they're just a bit too close to the turret.
Bit too telegraphed, I think, in general. Tom kind of walked up and took 500 damage for free for no obvious reason. He'll turn it into first strike of the game, which is an Ocean. I say that wrong, it's Cloud. Into Mount as the next spawn. Ian's finally starting to take some trade damage from the Zillion. Falls low.
Yeah, still working on his items. It's a little ways away from the Morellonomicon being finished. Upped in for his boots too as well. So far, Edge has been doing pretty well. He's now taking the lead as far as the CS is concerned. Has that assist in his pocket as well, so he's not terribly far behind the Orianna.
Yeah, Orianna had to do more mana management than she perhaps wanted to, with the no early tier. Sorry, the no early blue buff. Words are hard today.
Words are very hard when you're watching the series.
Still waiting for Kongdoo, one player at least, to show us a big play. And maybe that big play will fall flat on its face, but the inevitability of the Kongdoo series has kind of been more the worry. Jin Air especially has taken so many steps forward in recent series that hoping at least for Kongdoo to do something to approximate that, but so far frustrated on that regard.
Yeah, we've seen a different side of Jin Air as of late. I mean, almost beating KT. That would have been quite a statement by them.
It was just the aggression. You know, Jin Air has been so aggressive in the last two series we saw, 2-0ing Longzhu and then taking a game from KT.
And I mean, that catches people off guard. You're so used to Jin Air, just like, is it 45 minutes yet? We're not able to fight until the clock says 45 minutes.
And that's the meme, but as you say, against type has been the last few series from the side of Jin Air, whereas from Kongdoo it's been more of the same. You know, they've just been ground into the ground in many ways. Playing standard. I was being hopeful that we'd see some more creative stuff from them.
Beyond nearby, if they can get a root onto somebody, likely would go in for it, but might just have to wrap around. Brush is warded. Curtain Call gets opened up. See how many shots he can land. Beyond's on the back. Soul gets clipped by one. Jumps away. Has the flash available. Beyond still sticking to him like glue, but now has to flash out himself. Roach arriving as well as Edge. TPing into the bottom lane. They pick up 2 kills as Max and Beyond go down. Nice collapse here by Kongdoo, but they might not be done yet. ADD throws out that equalizer, trying to kite back as best as possible. The flash body slam comes through. Good flash by ADD, takes him to the other side of the cast. They'll ride that blast cone out, but still not out of the woods yet. Punch trying to push in, trying to get this kill. He's speeding himself up with the scrap shield. Looks like he might just make it out with his life, but still, Kongdoo, they put 2 on the board.
Yeah, MVP not respecting the double teleport available to Kongdoo. So if they had gone for the early teleport and just had 4 instantly, maybe they burst someone down and then the double teleport doesn't count for anything. But in this case, the double teleport wins out for Kongdoo. So Kongdoo find themselves only 1,000 gold behind at 15 minutes, which for them is an improvement on some recent series. Good instant call and reaction from Kongdoo to pick up those first 2 kills. And greedy from the side of MVP. They didn't need to be diving and in between 2 turrets. They already had the early advantage.
Things will just go back to being nice and calm for now. MVP likely going to play much more reserved after that botch. We'll see how they can try to net themselves more objectives. Next Dragon might be it. Mountain Drake will be coming up. And actually, they'll go ahead and start this Rift Herald up.
Intriguing to see who they give that to. I'm imagining Beyond, given that Rumble doesn't necessarily do too many auto attacks in a fight. If you overheat and have the Glimpse of the Void and auto attack, it's happy times, but Rengar gonna find more value, you'd imagine. Helps Beyond get around the jungle as well with the movement speed.
See that Dragon come in a minute and a half now. MVP definitely playing way too overzealous in that bottom lane. Costs him quite a bit. Gold lead shrinks down considerably. Beyond walking in, gets spotted out. Punch A lot of damage to offer up, but Edge can't land the double bomb. Shockwave coming through, chunking out the Graves. Chrono Shift is down. He will revive, but he's surrounded by 3 members. Edge gonna try to offer up some help to get him out of here safely, and actually might be able to do just that. Curtain call opened up by Maha, but Soul can just hammer away on him. Goes out that True Shot Barrage, gets the heal for it. And Punch, he lives in the end.
It was good stuff from Soul to instantly turn on to the curtain call from Maha and force him to cancel it after a couple of shots. Gets the heal away as well. And now it's risky for Maha to walk up. Does have Max with some semblance of health. His accuracy from Soul is really nice. Trying to get Maha off the turret.
Yeah, I mean, had he been back behind the turret, you have to think that Maha would have been free to just keep firing away. They could have come up with that kill, but positioning was just way too greedy by him. He wanted to jump into the curtain call immediately, and Soul had a really nice punish. And now they might be looking for this first turn of the game. Punch is nearby. They have a considerable wave, and Maha can't really push forward. It's already down to about half HP beyond arriving. Everybody on MVP's side is low.
Edge is here too.
That's going to be Edge coming in over the wall, flashes in for the engage. Beyond goes low, gets devoured. They will stay alive, but they lose the turret in Kongdoo. They're going to swing this back almost into their favor. 600 gold down now. They're looking for a Mountain Drake.
And it was a bit of greed once again from MVP to overstay as much as they did. Have to use 2 flashes on their bot lane. They didn't respect the fact that Edge could just roam quickly down bot lane, and Ian had recalled at the same time. No way for him to get to the bot lane skirmish. So good stuff from Kongdoo Monster, you know? They're doing the sort of ordered play that they can do. You wonder if this reactive style is more because of MVP's mistakes that it's working out. It's not like Kongdoo is really forcing things. It just feels like MVP is making strategic mistakes because they seem very confident.
Yeah.
Brazenly so.
That's a problem. You get way too confident, complacent, and then you start slipping up. You make these crucial mistakes that Kongdoo are able to capitalize on. You have to throw up to the top lane, which will go low. MVP are trying to get the wave pushed up so they can get some damage down onto that turret.
Rengar shows in mid. Remember that Zilean has teleport.
Yeah, has come back up. So could join his team up top here. Should he be needed, which looks like he won't be. They'll just have to lose this turret. A couple more hits takes it down. So MVP are keeping their heads above the water for now, but they have to be so cautious and calculated moving forward with the rest of this game. Oh, you actually would have gotten out of there. They're going to try to go on the offense, aggressive here. As the Abyssal Voyage comes in, Gugu will die. Double teleport does get completed by both. Roach immediately going to get locked up. Maha now sprinting forward, trying to join in the fight. Soul cut off by ADD, kept out from hitting up the front line with these Mystic shots. Chrono Shift comes down onto Punch, will not get popped. He's going to have to retreat, and Soul nearly dies, but is able to kite it out in the end. So Gugu the only casualty, but both teleports invested by Kongdoo.
And because of that, they had no idea who was going to come through, and the shockwave onto Zilean would have been high priority from the side of MVP, but they had to guess, and it ended up being the Gragas, so only took a modicum of damage in trying to stop recalls everywhere as Edge is caught.
Okay, Edge, yeah, caught. Doesn't have the Chrono Shift for himself, and he will go down. So nice pick up on the backside of that. MVP starting to get themselves comfortably back into the driver's seat.
Unsure why Edge was so far up in that scenario with no flash and no Chrono Shift.
Yeah, we'll see if we get a replay of that one. He might have just been going
Rumble's
for
teleporting. They want Baron?
Oh boy, they're going to go for this, it seems.
Risky.
Definitely is. I mean, Roach on the bottom side of the map does not have TP. Punch over the wall is a rather healthy. Shockwave going to whiff. Zoning ultimate, I guess you could try to say. Punch getting rooted. Would have to rely on the collateral damage, but actually isn't even there. He's going to flash it. He actually takes it away. He goes down. He'll die for that one, but man, the Baron Seal coming through from Kongdoo, absolutely crucial to keep them in this game. Big risky play by MVP, gets punished.
Didn't need to do it. He was healthy. He was only a level behind, but they brute forced it. They ended the Baron. It was enough for Punch to flash in and steal it away. That was enough to almost allow KT to achieve parity and eventually win that series against Jin Air just yesterday. And there was no vision on the Baron in terms of the HP bar. He just went for the blind flash over and got it.
What a play. Felt like there's no way that this is going to result in a steal, but Punch just crushes MVP's hopes.
So important for the type of comp that Kongdoo have, where they set up around sieges so strongly. Now they can do that. They can actually 5-man, have the Baron buff minions, Gragas for disengage, other zoning options, and potentially take some objectives. And all not lost for Kongdoo Monster. Gotta say, the lucky pick for Punch has been that Graves, and it worked out there as well. And this is what you can do now. Gragas walks up, threatens with the cast. They get some free damage. Not quite the turret yet, though.
Yeah, wave clear coming through mostly from Ian's efforts. Helping out where he can, but Kongdoo look like they are decently set to take down this turret with another wave or two. So right now it's all about MVP minimizing their losses during the duration of this Baron. It's like this outer mid turret will be the first to go down. See how much more Kongdoo can possibly get.
They should get a gold lead. The easy objective is for sure the top lane outer turret that will not be defended in any serious manner by MVP. ADD's bot lane with the teleport. That lets you know that he is certainly not going to be rotating top to stop that. Just try and answer with an objective of his own in bot lane.
Yeah, Ian's starting to hover up this way, but just realizes, you know what, I can't do anything. Just have to let this fall, which puts Kongdoo just a couple hundred shy of actually having a gold lead. ADD going to try to answer for this tier 1 in the bottom lane, but Edge is roaming down to try to cease this push. But sure if he's going to be able to arrive in time to really put a stop to it.
The minions probably get the job done.
Yeah, there we go. So they will pick that one up. But even so, it's only 1,000 gold for MVP. 24 minutes into this.
Be careful not to lose multiple turrets, but you see that Maha and Max have to respect the Baron buff and move away in the mid lane, so no attempt at going against the grain and picking up a second inhibitor. Sorry, a second turret. Inhibitors are still a ways away in this game. We might be certainly in for a longer one, as MVP have allowed Kongdoo Monster a lifeline they didn't necessarily deserve. But it has been a more spirited performance from Kongdoo.
Yeah.
They played standard for sure, they played reactive, but mistakes have been made by MVP and they've been profited on by Kongdoo Monster.
Yeah, they've done a good job capitalizing. And like I said, MVP, they seem like, you know, they got a bit complacent after that win in game number 1. So whether or not they can rein it back in, we have to wait and see. Because this very well could be a 40-plus minute game. Seems like that is the track that we're set on at the moment. Mountain Drake will be picked up here by MVP. Looks like Kongdoo can't do anything to try to contest this. But the top tier 2 turret is getting hammered away on by Roach. He's got a decent minion wave. Recalls will be slow.
Doesn't have Iceborne Gauntlet, so push will take time. Could equalize this wave.
Missile Voyage coming through. Max and Beyond arriving. Cask not exactly knocking him the direction that you want. He gets locked down by the Bola. Flash over. Max has the Devour. Gonna try to just spin him back over the wall. Won't be able to get that. Body slam. Can he make it out of here alive? Throw down the Equalizer. Redemption will come through from Cougar to keep him alive. And yeah, Roach is able to walk away. Meanwhile, Kongdoo pushing in the mid lane will knock down this inner turret.
Curtain call popped, but only the slow's really relevant. Nice stuff from Kongdoo. They don't lose a member in top and they get mid.
Punch takes a lot of damage just from the dissonance. Ian coming forward, finds a shockwave. Chrono Shift is thrown down on the Graves, and it will get popped. Roach now getting rooted by the Bola. So far, nobody dead. Punch still walks away. Almost has his flash back available. And MVP, they pushed out a lot to try to get the pick, and they just can't find it.
They keep DPSing down the person under the Chrono Shift, and in game 1, I thought that was fine, given they had so much damage and pick power on the back end. They could kill the person coming back, but in that scenario, I think other teams would have just not bothered. DPS down the Graves and tried to snipe him off in the last second. If he takes a flash, he flashes away, and that's fine. Overzealousness has been MVP's biggest enemy in game 2, and credit to Kongdoo. They're sticking with it. They're matching the enemy team in multiple different ways, and they're very much still in this series.
Yeah, very much a surprise, for sure. Ooh, barely not getting that back denied is ADD. Kongdoo showing signs of life, at least for the moment. Third Mountain Drake will be spawning. Going to help out very considerably. Either side that's able to pick it up would be double Mountain for each of these teams.
Very big tangent. Atlas will be arriving in Korea this week. One of our exciting things we haven't talked about so far on this stream.
Yeah.
We'll have our second play-by-play caster out here.
Landing on Saturday.
Should actually be at the games. Probably won't cast off the plane. That'd be silly, but...
We'll have to get him in the audience and maybe get a camera on him so he can say hi.
He still has...
For the first time to the OGN Legion.
Still has crazy hair. That much is still true. Still yells a lot. That much will also be true. Spoilers, they'll be yelling. Happens sometimes on this stream. Not that often.
Usually by me in fits of rage. Like Faker not clearing a
That clearing control ward, yeah, one of the biggest possible moments. Hard engage here.
Invisible Voyage coming in through. TP a little bit away from ADD, who's going to be coming in the backside.
Where's Equalizer?
For that equalizer.
Good one.
Yeah, gets thrown down, cutting off a lot of them. Soul takes a lot of damage, jumping over the wall, but ADD flashes forward to come up with the kill. Roach locked down by the Bola. Body slams over, but he is completely surrounded. Decent cast, knocks a couple people away, but Maha is able to pursue with a flash of his own and takes him out with that crit shot. Now, 2 members down on the side of Kongdoo. This Baron is spawning right now, MVP. Do they go for it?
Now, can they actually problem solve the punch problem? Because he was the one who stole away the last Baron that may have cemented Game 2 in this series.
He doesn't have a flash to get himself into the pit. Rely on the quick draw. Blast Cone is gone, getting rid of yet another option.
No wards.
Cougar gets popped. Deadly Flourish comes up with the kill, but MVP, they're really low. Do they want to stick around for this one? Edge is just throwing bombs over the wall. Punch comes in, not able to find the steal this time. Goes over to Beyond, and Punch, he will die inevitably. Chrono Shift kept him alive for just a little bit longer. But now MVP, they come up with multiple kills. They come up with a Baron that's, for the most part, clean. Can they close out the game from here? It's still only 2,300 gold to lead for them.
Might have been clean compared to the last one, but still messy, I think, on the overall scheme of things. The engage was really nice, though. This is one of my favorite new combos. The Thrill of the Hunt popped before you go through the Abyssal Void, so you have a guaranteed gap close on the back end. Equalizer really nice from ADD. Even the Redemption wasn't enough to answer it, so the setup and the decision to start Baron is a good one from Kongdoo, but not enough respect, I think, is being paid to the potential for the steal. Sort of thing where, you know, MVP most likely will come out of this series in 4th place, but a very demonstrable weakness seems to be their control around the Baron and their decisions to take it and DPS it down when other teams like KT and SKT use the Baron much more for the turn power. Still, they got the Baron now. We can be a bit more results-orientated. See him DPS down the outer turret finally and pick up some standing gold.
Knock one down. Can they get the inner? So without a wave, it's considerable ways away, so it looks like they will just go ahead and have to start splitting in different lanes. Maybe even just back off and get that dragon in 45 seconds. There's just waves not prepped for them to try to push in.
Don't have the strongest sieging comp between Jin and Orianna, but second Mountain Drake would help. Seems to be mostly about those minion waves, perhaps trying to have an uncontested Mountain Drake with top and bot lane pushing.
You can see the clear here is just so much better for Kongdoo. Double bombs not doing much to the Baron empowered minions, but still offering up some damage on top of the end of the line for Punch. Bottom lane though was exposed. Beyond moved down there to work the wave up. They're able to take that one out. So 2 turrets now gained for MVP off the backside of this Baron. Can they find more? Beyond going over the wall looking for Cougar. He flashes away, will not get rooted. He's alive for a little bit longer. MVP still hovering around looking for this inner mid turret, but looking like they're going to go ahead and peel back and get that second Mountain Drake.
ADD's just hit level 16, so 3rd level Equalizer available, but probably not going to be cast in the near future. Mountain Drake is not a sight for Kongdoo to fight, but the Elder Dragon will be the next spawn and might have to be another forced fight from the side of Kongdoo Monster. Last time they postured aggressively, were punished very conclusively by MVP around the top lane. Things calm down a little bit again in this game. So with Atlas coming, you know, it's going to be another new face to Korea. Hasn't spent a lot of time here. Korea has a lot of eccentricities, let's say, or just differences from both Australia and many Western countries. Yeah. Kilias, what's the first thing you want to show Atlas? Like, what have you enjoyed your time on here, whether it's food or activities? Like, what's your first thing when you want to be like, this is something I value and I want to introduce you to it?
That's You know, that's a tough one. Probably some of the really good soups out here. Because I feel like, you know, Korean barbecue, they have Korean barbecue in the States. I'm sure they have Korean barbecue in Australia. And I'm sure he's tried it during his travels. But I don't know if he's had, you know, some of the really good jigaes that they have out here. So that probably, as far as food goes, is probably one of the big things. But other than that, maybe just like a really nice PC bong.
Did notice that Afrika TV have their own PC bong.
Yeah, we're talking about it earlier.
Talked about it in the first series. That's a cool one. Different culture. We can go play some League of Legends. We've got 3 now at least.
Yeah.
Who knows? We can ask Monty and Doa, see if they're feeling excited.
Maybe we could piece together
the 5-man.
team.
Chopra somewhere. It's like one single tier. Be like, I was there too.
He can be the substitute.
Barry can be our manager.
There we go. Perfect.
He can be our representative now.
Yeah, he could be.
Our legal counsel.
He could also get us a private jet to fly us to events. It'd be great. Thanks, Barry.
OGN family's getting bigger, Achilles. You got to be happy.
I love having my absurdly rich friend in Barry and making fun of him for money that he actually doesn't have.
Make sure to link this timestamp to Barry so he can get tilted, as he always does.
Oh, yes, he does.
Doesn't like to talk about his unmatched wealth.
Nope. What about you? What are you going to show Atlas? Your Kongdoo monster secret, perhaps?
Oh. I'm trying to keep that one under wraps, Achilles.
You should always wrap up your Kongdoo monster secret.
Never without protection. Not many ways to take that particular one, Achilles. 2 on the nose, I think. I don't know if I have a great answer. There's just so many different things that are different from Australia in particular. Like, Australia's so different to Korea. Just honestly, the nightlife here is so awesome, so much happening.
Oh, sure.
12 a.m. to 4 a.m., still lots of action. That it's just a little bit different from Australia.
What do you do in Australia? Put on your best Gragas cosplay and then go play with some kangaroos?
Just a standard Tuesday night for me.
Okay.
Many ways.
What was that movie? Oh, Kangaroo Jack, is that what it was?
There was a Kangaroo Jack, yes.
Yeah. That movie made me want to go to Australia when I was younger.
Not Crocodile Dundee, too young for that one.
I watched it, but I didn't really appreciate it at the time. But yeah, Kangaroo Jack was the one that really made me want to go to Australia. And then I realized, you know, the amount and size of the spiders, other various things that can murder me.
I'm still surprised you can get through release games without freaking out. You are very petrified of spiders. And the ocean, from memory.
Yep.
How do you cast ocean drakes and spiders? What happens if an Elise team picks up 3 ocean drakes?
It's really difficult for me. It's a tough time.
Rational fears.
Yep.
I mean, honestly, the biggest thing to show Atlas is, it sounds like a huge sellout moment, but you know, obviously he's done all his casting mostly in Oceania with no studio audience.
Oh, yeah.
In a small room, so just the...
Being in the studio.
Being in a big studio is a big difference. He's making the same move I did from the Oceanic studio to Korea, you know, to OGN in particular. So,
yeah.
And that'll just be something different. He loves to shout. And it's kind of the weird scenario where, you know, he shouts a lot even, because he's an excitable guy. If you ever meet him, you'll know that's very much genuine enthusiasm. But the shouting kind of sounds forced when you don't have the studio crowd. Well, guess what? In a telecom wall without the shouting, it's going to sound very normal.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's a massive difference. You go from casting in a studio or just casting at home to actually having a crowd, even if you're not on the the studio sound. The energy definitely bleeds through. Abyssal Voyage, though, coming out from Max. Nice
equalizer.
Nice equalizer. Thrown down the curtain call there as well. Get a couple shots in. Edge goes low. The redemption will come through from Kongdoo to pop them back up. Baron spawned. MVP, we're looking for a pick to initiate that, but they might just do it anyway.
Oriana ball and equalizer available still.
See what they can do to try to dissuade this one. Plunges half HP. Shockwave comes through, drags them back in. The Baron will go over. They lose 2 on the backside. Kongdoo just getting ripped through. Cougar and Punch go down. And they trade back. Soul dashing forward, looking for a kill on the Maha. Mystic shot, not going to connect. They will pop the Chrono Shift at the end, and he is completely surrounded, so you'd have to expect that he's going to die. Tries to get a kill onto the Jhin right at the end to at least trade one, but can't find it. And now MVP with another Baron will be pushing through, knocking down more turrets, and likely looking to end the game.
And third Baron's the charm for MVP. Really good focus there, having the ball ready for if Punch walked up, but just taking him down in one single burst. Wasn't alive to contest for the Baron. Picked that one up so much cleaner. Third time of asking. Basically going to be broken in multiple different ways. Only Edge and Roach alive. 8 seconds on Punch, so probably won't see the end of the game yet, but a lot of the hopes for Kongdoo now seem to be out the window.
Yeah, definitely. They can't break that bottom turret quite yet, but MVP, they're going to go ahead and move over and look for this Elder Dragon, so just doubling up on the objective buffs, and having that amplification from the Double Mountain will just make those turrets crumble under the pressure that MVP is going to be pushing on. 10,000 gold, 12,000 gold now in the lead is MVP.
About 8,000 in their pockets to be spent right now, so going to be a big lead. Watch the ball here. That's the big story as Punch walks up.
There. Tried to dash away from it, but
that time there was going to be no steal, so steal made on the first attempt, possible on the second, but much better thought through in the last one as Sol, you know, he was trying to make something happen.
Yeah, he was so hungry for the kill. Just couldn't get it. Oh, well. It was definitely a much harder fought game here from Kongdoo in the second one, but MVP now just surge forward with a massive lead. And that's only with them taking a couple structures since that Baron came over to them. Now they're going to be adding even more to the list. We'll see just how much they can stretch that gold lead before the Nexus crumbles.
And unfortunately has become the new norm of series against Kongdoo Monster. What can you stretch? Is it KDA? Is it gold leads? Is it early game rating? They played a good reactive early game, but it was reactive. They weren't making the things happen. They were there to answer them. And now every time you hear the throw of the hunt popped, every time you wait for the shockwave, it's waiting for MVP to make the big play that closes out the game.
Second inhibitor goes down. Super Creep starting to push in the mid lane. Wave not really prepped in bottom. See where MVP wants to go now. Just try to bring the waves up. Yeah, you can see down to the bottom side. Max and Ian are nearby. Try to shove that in, knock down that final inhib. Just go for the throat of Kongdoo.
Like you say, tutorial style here from MVP. Waiting for the minion waves to crash in other lanes. Not taking any liberties, respecting their opponents in Kongdoo Monster after being much more wayward at the start of the game. Good wave clear from Kongdoo means that it's going to be a little bit slower, but you know, the war of attrition being fought by the minions is inevitable.
It's pretty decent, but every time Maha can walk up and get that fourth shot out, it's just whittling away at that turret very rapidly. He throw the hunt, tossed. Just be zoning most of Kongdoo back, fearing the Rengar. Roach is going to get locked up. Emjin coming down, equalizer, toss that in the back. Won't get too much damage down onto the key members of Kongdoo Monster, but Soul goes low and he gets popped immediately by the curtain call. Maha coming up with that one. Punch has that chrono shift down on top of himself. Roach will not have that freedom. Just run around, has to just waddle his way back into the fountain, try to hold on to that Guardian Angel, but even so, the Nexus turrets will go down. MVP will close out the game. 40.5 minutes just about on the clock. Punch going into the back, trying to take out ADD. He won't be able to do so. He falls. And that is just going to be the 2-0 completed by MVP. A bit harder fought than you might have expected by them, but they come up with it in the end. And that is just going to leave Kongdoo Monster still perfectly mirroring SK Telecom on the opposite side of the standings now at -19.
Definitely not a stat you want to be repeated, but may even go forward to the end of the season in what would be a pretty peculiar world. Kongdoo cemented in bottom spot. MVP cemented now in third spot. Only a single game score behind Samsung Galaxy. But regardless, they're happy. They really needed to steady the ship after that loss to Afrika. They're in fourth, really wanting to make it higher, but probably pretty much, if they're going to make it to the playoffs, it's probably going to be playing in that wild card best of 3 rather than necessarily the best of 5s. Because if you finish first, second, or third, you're in the best of 5 stage, but they start off the gauntlet with 4th versus 5th in a best of 3.
Yep. So now with this win here for MVP, things get a bit more complicated for Afrika, for Longzhu. They're going to have to be very well practiced up going into their future games if they want to stick in that top 5 spot. Longzhu especially right now being just under Afrika Freaks.
1 game score.
Yeah. It's the -1.
Yeah, the -1, Severin, though. I really hope it doesn't end the season on a -1, Achilles. That is,
that would be really brutal.
That's definitely not something to laugh about. That'd be horrifying if the coaching situation that necessitated the extra game loss separated them, but it's a close race. Maybe the top and the bottom are basically decided this many weeks with 3 weeks left to play, but everything else still needs to be shaken out.
Yeah, I mean, Samsung as well, you know, having that -1 now due to the early leaves. I mean, MVP are 1 step behind them. So it's going to be a very tight race for spots 3 through 5. See who comes out on top. But MVP, some roughness definitely in game number 2 that needs to be fleshed out. But overall, looks pretty okay here in this set. Game 1 especially looks very commanding, but you expect a bit more from them going up against Kongdoo.
First time Rumble when it comes to top-level competitive play was pretty possible. Honestly, there was some good equalizers too. So
there's some wonky ones at the start of the game, but they came together.
It's important that he can play these picks. We know he can play the Sign. We know he can play some of the crazier picks, but actually being able to play the Rumble is an important thing, and our MVP will go over to Ian.
Yeah, 4-0-9 on that Orianna.
Great set from him. You know, think about game 1 had maybe more Titanic equalizers than he did in game 2, but the one at the last fight, specifically onto Punch, was a very important one.
Yeah, those just keeping him out of the Baron pit, bursting him down with the shockwaves is very important here by Ian. And like you said, had a very good set. Game 1, a bit cleaner, you'd have to say. He did have some over-aggressive plays that almost cost him here in game number 2. But overall, Ian did look quite good with this Orianna throughout. So has another pick that people have to fear in addition to the Syndra, perhaps.
No sign of Ari on this match day, which is a bit sad.
Yeah, we haven't had any today.
Has favored. This was the big equalizer to me. Punch trying to come in. Equalizer. I mean, of course, in this case, the shockwave.
It functions as as an equalizer in the regular definition.
Equalizers, shockwaves, oh my, was this game?
But yeah, MVP. This is definitely a rough one. So that's definitely the game that they have to look at as when it comes to the VOD review. Look over where they were going just a little bit too ham, where it cost them their lead early on, and then how they can correct that going forward into their next games, because they do have some stiff opposition. But for now, we'll go ahead and hear from our MVPs, Ian and beyond. So Joel, take it away.
Thank you very much, guys. This is Joel with your interview translations. We're here with Team MVP, who are maintaining the good form by picking up another 2-0 victory against Kongdoo Monster, and we are here with Ian and beyond for the interview. Congratulations on the win. Beyond, how do you feel? You know, getting a win is always good, but there were a lot of mistakes that we want to really look back upon, and hopefully we can do better next time. It was more prevalent on the game 2. And regarding the dive at the bot lane and some other stuff, we would like to do a little bit better. We thought you played well, Ian. How do you feel about your performance? Yeah, I'm not completely satisfied, but I think I just did my own part. I don't think I am able to say that, you know, I was doing a super carry for my team. But you know, my other teammates, I definitely was a better one. But I think, you know, all of our teammates, we all just did our part to create a good team. Beyond is the Elise pick is something that we don't see that much in the LCK pick, and some people actually consider it a back pick for jungle right now in the current meta. But you still show a good plays, many good plays with it. You know, I think negating the top 2 picks for jungle, I think Elise is still a viable pick, and I think it's very useful in certain situations. We saw that you were soloing down the Rift Herald with Elise alone. does that happen often? As far as we know, that's not supposed to happen. As soon as you turn level 11, you get 4 spiderlings, and they do enough tanking that, you know, as long as you distract the other opponents, you should be able to solo it. Don't know if we have that stored in a video highlight, but let's look at a video highlight. This is from game 1. Ian, you watching that from the side, were you not pretty surprised at how he was cutting off each member like that? You know, we thought that Beyond playing so well in recent days that, you know, he's really ranking up as a jungler. I'm really proud of him for that. And another fun story about Beyond is that there's a lot of comparison between you and Score regarding its very similar style in the jungling. And even in the data, we see that there's a lot of similarity between you and Score. If you're talking about Lee Sin, for example, I played a lot in solo queue. And even if I, you know, practice a lot, there has to be a situation where that's viable. And I think, you know, but more practice is needed to make the Lee Sin very fluid and smooth as you need it to be. Orianna, you showed a lot of very good plays with the Orianna champion today. And it seemed very safe and not overly aggressive. But how do you rate the champion? I think Orianna is just one of those champions that's always there in the meta. And it's just a bit of a utility thing that gets the other laners ahead and gives them more advantage. And I think, you know, it gives you a lot of confidence boost to your team. You know, in regarding how he played, I think he did plenty well, but I think, you know, I think he was just a little bit underwhelming in some parts. I wish he played a lot harder. And another very prevalent thing was that your CS advantage that you had over the other jungler was really, really decisive, where we saw a big difference throughout the game. You know, we saw when we were at the Graves game, we saw that there was a point in the game where there was a lot of advantage that I could take in the camps, and I just tried to rush into the pathing and try to get more jungling on. And another video highlight from game 2. This is what I wanted to talk about. And this is a situation where you guys really secured that Baron kill. Ian, what was the communication between your teammates? Yeah, there was a wasted ult on the other on the opposition side, and gave us a lot of room to make more creative plays. And Beyond told me to make that play, and I was able to be, you know, ready, prepared to make that play. Beyond, do you actually like, you know, having the close smite steals? Yeah, I think so. You know, when you get that very close Baron fights and, you know, you actually get the steal of it, feels extremely good. That's why we feel like, you know, you could get it more safer, but you kind of put yourself on the edge to, you know, put yourself in a situation where it's very close. Lastly, Ian, would you like to say a word to your fans out here today? I think, you know, I did it last time. I want Beyond to do it this time, if that's alright. We always thank the fans for always supporting us. And practices are sometimes rough for us, but we like to always think of your support to cheer us up. And as long as we could get continued support from you guys, I feel like we will have a good result by the end of the season. And that's the end of the interview. Back over to you guys.
Thank you very much, Joel. Closing out the game there. So, I mean, Beyond, yeah, kind of living on the edge there when it comes down to those Baron fights. But if that's what gets his adrenaline pumping, then who am I to stop him?
It's the only way he gets excited.
He's a thrill seeker.
Exactly. He liked to play with matches as a kid. Well, the fire was started by MVP, and Kongdoo monsters turned out to be out of water and every other fire repellent, and it just burned them to death.
Yep.
That wasn't even with the Rumble in the game. That was just game 2.
Well, another brutal loss here for Kongdoo Monster. Actually, I thought they were mirrored with SK Telecom, but they are not.
Take that. Now they're better than SK Telecom at game score.
So much better. Negative 19 for these guys. MVP will remain firm in 4th, just behind Samsung, who's actually going to be playing tomorrow. So going to be a very crucial game for them, and they have some tough opposition as well. So we'll see if they can come out on top of that one. But right now, MVP do look quite poised to stick in that top 5 spot.
They also now, again, not a big story, but out of the relegation contention because there's only 5 matches left for Jin Air, and they cannot reach 8 wins. But tomorrow, got some fun games. Second one, probably the pick of them, but we're starting with Longzhu versus the Rocks Tigers.
And this might not seem like the greatest one, but this is very important for Rocks if they want to inch out over Freaka Freaks, stay in the top 5, or well, rather get themselves back into the top 5, as currently they're in 6th place. A 2-0 victory would do that for them. Otherwise, I believe they get tied with the Freaka. But yeah, Samsung versus KT Rolster. A win here for Samsung that would really boost their confidence pushing forward into the gauntlet.
And KT, perfect gamed Samsung in game 1 last time. Only perfect game we've had in Korea so far this season. They've been up and down, only just won over Jin Air. And speaking of Jin Air, they'll actually play against MVP on Saturday.
Yeah, and they've been in a new form, you'd have to say. So this could be actually a little bit tough for MVP, who struggled there in Game 2 versus Kongdoo. So we'll see how they manage that one on Saturday. And then we'll close out the night and the week for us here with BBQ Olivers versus SK Telecom T1. BBQ, bit of a slump at the moment, so you have to expect that SKT should just be putting another 2-0 on the board and really just closing out their way into that grand final.
Finally, in the Gangnam Stadium, last matches of 7.4. Kongdoo Monster versus Samsung. That should be a Samsung win. And then interesting one.
Really?
How will this one go? Rocks Tigers versus Afrika. I think it depends on some of the matches previously. Rocks, you know, if they can get a win over Longzhu, which isn't an impossibility, given Longzhu's been up and down and just recently 2-1 in the last series. Who knows? Might actually be a close one.
Yeah, very well could be. We'll see. You know, who's going to be starting for both teams there, whether it's going to be Mowgli, whether we're going to see Linderong in the top lane, because Linderong versus Marin seems slightly imbalanced. But, I mean, Mickey versus Coral, there's a lot of potential there for them.
I disagree.
All right, well, that's going to close it out for us. We'll be back here tomorrow for more LCK action, so make sure you check it out. We'll see you then.